Good evening. Good evening and welcome back to our first Girlie Giggles. I think this is the first one for 3 weeks, right? Has it been 3 weeks? Yeah, amazing. So as you guys know, but I'm going to reintroduce them just in case you've forgotten or you've banged your head and you've got amnesia. We have got the beautiful Maxine Palmer and we have got my gorgeous right-hand woman, Donna Stockwell, with us. And this is basically Girlie Giggles. Normally we meet every Wednesday and this gets published on a Thursday for you guys to be able to watch at 6 p.m. So before we get started, please go and hit the thumbs up to say you like the video. Please hit subscribe to my channel and share this with anybody who needs a bit of a giggle and who wants to hear some beautiful conversations with 3 beautiful ladies this evening. So let's start as we always do. Donna, how have your last 2 weeks been?
Yeah, up and down. I've been pretty tired, very, very tired, but I know that's something that's been happening to a lot of us, so not overly concerned. Last week I was on holiday in Cornwall and Devon, which was amazing, apart from the weather, which was challenging at times, but we didn't let it spoil it. You know, what I've realised actually is, you know, you do different things when the weather isn't good, and maybe things that you wouldn't normally do, and actually you have a lot of fun doing them. So yeah, so I've had a really nice holiday. And what else has been going on the last 2 weeks? That's about it, really. Yeah, that's about it from me. I don't have exciting stories about post offices like Maxine does.
Oh, bless you. Well, I'm glad you had a good holiday. And obviously, you know, it's just been busy the last 2 weeks, right? Just generally, it has been busy. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little while. Maxine, my love, have we had any vibrations or have we had any strong scents coming from any parcels in the last 2 weeks?
Well, we have had a visit from the police.
Oh.
So next door
found you?
Yeah, we did the whole... She's here, we've got her, you know, a few of the customers said, I went, yeah, just take me, love, I could do with the day off. But next door to us, we have a physio and we have a lot of paramedics pull up there. And I always think they're taking someone away. It's not, they're actually having work done. So the other day, well, last week, there was a police car outside. So I just assumed that's what he'd gone in for. So I'm pottering around the shop and he came in and he said, is the manager in? So I said, well, that's me at the moment. And he said, oh, we had an incident. I wonder if I could speak to you about it. So I'm thinking, right, I don't remember an incident apart from the drug guy and the sex toys, but I didn't report either one of those to the police. The only other incident I had was a man who wouldn't leave with his dog. But we haven't had any other incidents. Apparently it was 2 years ago when a couple of kids threw a plank of wood at the door. Because they were swearing at me. And so I said, you know, out you go, went to shut the door and he threw a plank of wood at me. So I said, but that's all been dealt with. I went direct to the school. I spoke to the pupil myself, contacted his parents and said, unless you sort him out, you know, he can't come in the shop, but I'm willing to sit and talk to him. So he said, oh no, well, you know, we're still investigating it. I said, why aren't you out catching all these non-maskers? I said, because that's what you've been doing for the last 12 months. So he said, very funny. He said, I didn't join the force to do this. I said, really? Well, tell your brothers and your sisters who pop that uniform on every day that I've had visits from you lot about serving people without one. He said, oh, yeah, we were told to do that. I thought, right, young man, come and sit down because me and you need to have a chat. So I said, come on, we'll talk about this incident then 2 years ago. I said, let me just lock up the post office and we'll sit and have a chat. Anyway, what he said was he was told that if anybody was out, because he's not normally out on patrol, but he was sent out on patrol, all the young ones that come as PCSOs, so they're paid a wage, but they're not really, you know, plastic policemen we used to call them. They were told as they walked the streets, if they saw more than 2 people together, they had to question them. And that was from last March. It started, and the way he was talking was before lockdown, yeah? He said, and they had to give out a fine, automatic fine. So I was telling him about my son, who obviously went out for a walk, met with his friend who's non-British, And my son was told, go home, son. And his friend was searched on the street, which I've still got on video, and received a £200 fine, which he hasn't paid. And it's now gone back to the police station. And we're talking about February time. And he said, oh, you won't have to pay it. He said, because, you know, we just write it off. I said, but you shouldn't give it in the first place, because half those people would have paid it because they'd be frightened of you. So I got a bit of info out of him. Anyway, apparently they're not doing it now. They've been told to go back to normal policing duties. So anyone that was murdered between last March and now, sorry, we can't do anything about you, but now we'll start investigating an incident 2 years ago where a child threw a plank of wood at my head. And I didn't call the police. Yeah. So I said, I really think you ought to, you know, decide whether you want to carry on wearing that uniform. 35 years he's been a policeman. Wow. And he said, I wouldn't join now. He said, if I had the choice, I'd never join now. Okay. So, yeah, so that was one interesting incident. Then I got asked out by a beautiful man. Beautiful. Oh. Honestly, he kept coming in the shop. He's got these beautiful eyes.
No.
Yeah. But then didn't go according to plan. Oh. So he kept coming in. We're having conversation. You know, my heart was fluttering a little bit. I thought, oh, this is after Self-Love Club. This is love, because I had no flutterings before this. And then he said, would you like to go out? So I said, yeah, I'd love to. You know, what do you fancy doing? He said, well, the pubs are open now, so we could probably go to the pub. And I thought, well, no, strike one. Let's see what else you've got. So I said, we'll go for a walk. He said, well, I suppose we could. There's a bench over on the field. I thought, I don't plan on sitting down. I don't want to go for a walk. Do you know what I mean? Find out who you are, really, because I don't know enough about him. So, well, what we could do is get a blanket and I'll bring a couple of bottles of wine and we can sit on the field. So I thought, well, that's twice now you've mentioned alcohol. So I said, right, no, you probably got the wrong end of the stick. I said, do you want to go for a walk? You obviously don't walk far, so maybe not. So he toddled off. He said, oh, yeah, no worries. Anyway, he came back a couple of days later and he said, oh, I'm really sorry. He said, it's just I thought women like to go to the pub. So I said, well, they probably do, but I'm just not one of them. I said, I like to go for a walk so we could have a chat. And he said, well, I might be a bit out of breath. I thought, it's all right, we can stop halfway around, you know, and I'll stop asking questions, or I'll record you so I can play it back. Anyway, it didn't work out. He's a pub guy. So no, I won't be going out with him. Still comes in, we still have a laugh, but no, we won't be going out.
I love that.
But what is it about men and pubs?
Yeah, I actually love that you've just shared that, Maxine, because firstly, there's a real dynamic shift around that kind of male-female or female-female, basically relationship energy at the moment. This month, very, very big shift. So we'll touch on that in a minute. But I love the fact, and anybody watching, please be inspired what Maxine has just said. I love the fact that you've been paying attention in Self-Love Club membership for the last 12 months. I'm so freaking proud of you, my girl, because 12 months ago, you would not have had those boundaries. Hang on a minute, this is a red flag. Hang on a minute, this is a red flag. Hang on a minute, this is a red flag. Actually, do you know what? No, I'm not going to do this. And I just want to give you a public shout out for that, because that's a huge step forwards. And to any men and women out there that are going through this, know your standards, know what you are after, and do not settle for less. Please recognize what Maxine has just said. He was good looking, he was fun, he had beautiful eyes and all the rest of it. But from the get-go, it was not in alignment with Maxine's soul and what she wanted to do. So she said no. Love that, Maxine.
Exactly, that's exactly right.
I am so proud.
It was just so, oh, thank you. Yeah, but it was so not me. But you're right, a year ago, I would have said, yeah, let's go to the pub. I probably would have stayed 5 minutes and bored with him because he probably wanted to knock back, you know, but then to say, if we go for a walk, I'll bring 2 bottles of wine. What, one each? You bringing glasses? Do you know what I mean?
It's a straw, babe.
And the fact that, you know, he wanted to stop at a bench and sit down. We haven't even started walking yet. So no, it wasn't me. And I mean, yes, he was beautiful. And he still comes in and I still go, yeah, nearly, but no. No, definitely, it's just not who I'm looking for. Yeah. But that sort of look. So I might take a picture of him and the next guy just put it on his face.
Standards.
Say what, sorry?
It's standards. It's having standards.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's really, really, really amazing.
And I'm not saying I was completely, you know, a complete tart and a whore a year ago. That's several years ago. But, you know, I have learned through this whether somebody is right for me. So, but it's the same with friends. If I've got no connection whatsoever, I won't be phoning them to go out for a cup of tea.
No.
You know, let's meet for a coffee. I won't, if you don't mind, because when no, we have nothing. And a cup of coffee isn't going to sort it.
No.
Yeah.
Love that. And actually it's really important to recognize your standards. So many people will say, oh, I would like this, I would like that. So for me, aesthetics are not important. Like, I naturally gravitate towards Mediterranean men, as we all know. I love a bit of Greek, I love a bit of Italian, I love a bit of Spanish. Like, that's the look that I am naturally drawn to. However, it's, you know, I've dated people with blue eyes. I've never dated a blonde. I'm just going to throw it out there. It's not about the aesthetics with me. Exactly what, and this is what I've coached people through with the Self-Love Club membership and all of my programs, is you need to know what it is that you're looking for. The aesthetics and the, you know, the material stuff is irrelevant. It's how do you feel? What level of consciousness? What do you want to speak about? What do you want their hobbies to be? What are their passions? Are they passionate? Because for me, I think the reason I love Mediterranean men is that they are particularly passionate, particularly the Italians and the Spanish. They're very, very passionate. And I love passion. And I'm not necessarily talking in the bedroom, you know, just to like mitigate that now, because I can imagine all the men are there going, oh yeah, she's a kinky little one.
So, you're going to have a
phone's
queue.
Going.
Mate, I'll get to that in a minute. My phone hasn't stopped, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But the fundamental truth of the matter is, you know, I need somebody who is on their mission. Not passionate about moaning about getting up to go to work in the morning and passionate about moaning about work when they get home. I'm talking about somebody that goes, do you know what? My life is so worthwhile. I'm going to fight for it and I'm going to deliver it in the best possible quality that I can. That's what I'm talking about. And do you know the only way I've been able to establish that? I've dated people that moan when they get up in the morning and moan when they get home from morning and moan that they don't want to be doing it. And when I say, okay, so what would you be doing? Well, I don't know. That's not my person. That's not my soul food. And I know that now. So when I have those conversations, you know, and I'm going to be really open. In the last few days, I have gone on a dating app. I'm not going to tell everyone which one because, you know, I'm not going to be telling you. It's one that I didn't even know about. So I'm on this dating app anyway, and I've had some of the most incredible conversations because I am so clear. Do not match with me if you wear this. Do not match with me if you've done this, because my fertility is so important. And the level of conversations that I'm getting with these incredible conscious guys is amazing. Whether they end up being friends, whether they end up being anything more than friends, it's irrelevant. It's about the conversations. And, you know, I've really been putting it out there for a long time now. I'm ready. I'm ready to go on to the next phase. I'm ready to start getting back dating again. You guys know about the challenge that I've got, my 21-day challenge. You know, and it's so important if you are going to go on 21 dates, maybe with the same person, maybe with multiple people, right? And I'm not talking about sleeping with people, just nip that conversation in the bud as well. If you say, right, I'm going to go out on 21 dates, know that every single date is going to bring you some gold. A bit like what Maxine was saying. She saw this guy, she was like, yep, ticked all the boxes, but then it was like, actually, no. If you had never had that conversation, if you'd never entertained it, you would never have recognized that actually you've got a standard, Maxine. You know, and this needs to go into every area of our lives. I'm just talking about dating because obviously I'm I'm not fresh back on the market, but actually I've just started to actually be interested in it. And let me tell you something really funny, because this will give everyone a giggle, particularly you two. So the last few days, I've moved out of where I was. I was in a particularly toxic situation. I've moved out of that, and I am now staying with a friend. And I kid you not, since I've moved in here, it has been like buses. I have had so many conversations with men. I was running on the beach this morning, and I'm going to be honest, I was being a bit shallow. I was running along and I saw these abs and I was like, phew. And I haven't looked like that in a long time, right? And I was like, oh, he's probably going to be like 25, maybe, something like that. Anyway, I cast my eyes up and he was older. He was probably about my age. And I was like, oh, hello. And he must have clocked me going, oh, because he kind of started conversating with me. And it was absolutely hilarious because I was about to run off and he was like, hey, stop. And I was like, oh my God, because he was gorgeous. But that is the power of having standards. That is the power of saying, hey, this toxic situation is not for me. I'm going to move myself out of this and I'm going to allow. And what happens when we remove toxicity, ladies? Abundance of gold starts to come in. It's whether we're brave
Definitely.
enough. For you, Maxine, it's whether you're brave enough to say, do you know what? I really like you. You know, you're getting me ovaries fluttering. However, I'm not ready to be with somebody that's not ready to live the life that I choose to live. And that is so remarkable. And what will happen off the back of it is you're going to get some gold. You know, you're going to get some gold. You're going to get some amazing opportunities.
I mean, he still comes in to see me, you know, and we still have a giggle. And he'll still say, you know, if ever you want to go to the pub, and I say, well, if ever you want to walk, you know, we'll make a joke of it. Yeah. So, you know, we're friends, but there was no way he wanted it to be a date. And I could picture his life. You know, Sunday morning would be in bed with a hangover, you know, probably farting away while I'm, you know, I want to go out at 6 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to wake up in an animal house. Do you know what I mean? With a man farting. So yeah, he just wouldn't be for me, but we're friends.
Amazing.
But then again, he could have a good looking brother who wants to walk. You just never know.
Just never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. I met a guy the other day, like literally, I can't even say to you, it's been busy. Like it's been really busy. I met a guy the other day and I was chatting to him and he went, listen, if I'm not up to standard for you, I've got a twin.
Love that.
Like, I love the
you see, this guy could have a twin. I'm going to have to go and check.
Guys, you just don't know. But the beautiful thing is we just need to set the intention of what it is and learn our standards and know our standards. Particularly, like for me, when I got down here Sunday, all I wanted to do was run and get a cuddle off of a man. Literally, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to feel safe with somebody because I haven't felt for quite a while. And I just wanted to feel safe. I wanted someone to wrap their arms around me. But the old Lucy would have got her little black book out and found somebody to do that. But what I did was I switched my phone off. I went for a big long walk on the beach. I journaled like an absolute mofo, like I could teach all of my clients to do. And then I switched my phone on and I had a few of my friends that were out in town calling me and they were like, come out, come out, come out. So what I did is I took a big long walk along the beach and I went and met up with them. And what happened as soon as I went in there, I met a really nice man and then I met a really nice group of guys and literally the gold was flowing. And I didn't get the cuddle that night because I didn't need the cuddle. What I needed to do was go inwards and figure out what part of me was aching for attention. And then I resolved that ache, you know, through all of the processes that I teach you guys at Self Love Club membership. And then I went out with my friends and by default, what happened? I got the attention that I wanted, even though I didn't want it at that point. You know, that is the gold of the universe. And I don't know how we've gone off on such a big tangent, but I love it.
Well, we're in the post office 1 minute and now we're on the beach, which I think that's perfect.
Which I think you need to set your post office up on the beach, Max. Just throwing it out there. You know, we could get you a
Oh, God, without a doubt.
In your bikini, darling, serving your customers as they deliver their weed and their sex toys.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, the guy who came in, remember the guy who came in, he got it in his hands and I had to say, oi, get out, you're stinking up my shop.
Yeah.
So when he comes down now, because he still smokes, he obviously smokes it on his break, he gives it to his friend. I see him do it, so I can't go in there with this, you'll kill me.
Again, boundaries. I like standards. I like it.
Yeah.
Amazing. So have you got any more fun stories?
It makes life so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I haven't.
No?
Mostly the conversations we've had have been about the, you know, and going to be free. And then we obviously had a few people who've been ill with the headaches for the last 2 weeks. Really bad headaches. because they've obviously had their second Jabberwocky.
But also they're ramping up the old G. They're ramping up that as well. So we have to have a level of consciousness on that, because remember, those two things that we just spoke about go hand in hand. They're literally intertwined. Okay, so we do need to be very aware of that. So I'm going to bring you up to speed, other than my dating antics, but that's literally been the last couple of days. In fact, I haven't been on a date yet. I'm going on one tomorrow, though. Go me, go me. Yeah, I know, right? These 21 dates, they're going to get done, I promise you. So other than that, you know, it's been quite a busy 2 weeks for myself. Self-Love Club membership 2020 is now over. We've launched 2020, the class of 2021, literally yesterday, which was absolutely phenomenal. What I'm going to do underneath here, ladies and gents, is I'm actually going to post the YouTube video for the recording. Now, if you are keen to join us, it shuts at 7:30 p.m. on Friday evening, so you have to be quick. You'll literally have 24 hours from the minute that this video goes out to be able to sign up. We only open the doors for 72 hours a year. You know, we have been asked, actually, I'm going to say it, we have been asked to extend it a little bit because people are on holiday with kids and half term, so they've asked us to extend it a little bit. Me and Donna are figuring out whether we can do that or not, because, you know, we do like to keep it exclusive. But Maxine, you were somebody who attended Self-Love Club last year, the membership program. I would love to know how it feels to you now, having graduated out of 2020, and how you feel about it, and you know, just basically how it felt to you.
Well, it's so good I've come back for 2021.
I love that.
So
when Donna told me, I was like,
I mean, it came at I'm coming back again. So it came at the perfect time, because obviously 2020, but because I'd already been to Self-Love Club hangs, so I'd already started on the journey, but I'd only been to one in person. Then obviously you did one online, and then you offered this membership that basically wrote down what we discussed at the hangs, because obviously you discussed quite a few things that you channel through. And so it leaves you wanting more, because you think, oh, when's the next one? So then obviously you offered the membership, and you did say, I'm going to rip off every plaster you've ever had, and it's going to hurt the first month. And I thought, oh no, it'd be fine. Lucy's not that bad. Good God. But it was painful.
Last night, Maxine.
In fact, I think I phoned you, Donna, didn't I? And said, will she stop me from crying, please? This is killing me. I'm having a really bad day.
Were you on the call?
And that was week one.
Max, were you on the call last night? Yeah. So I think I managed expectations quite well, right? I literally was like, you are going to not like me very much, and you're not gonna want to be around me, and you're probably gonna want to quit. But the fundamental truth of the matter is, if you get through the first month, you know, it's gold.
That is exactly true. To be fair, if you get through the first week, things start to stick in your head because you explain it all. You then go back for more punishment week 2. By the time you get to week 3, you've actually got a picture of Lucy on your wardrobe throwing darts at it. And then by week 4, you take it down and you love her. Because that, for me, week 4, I made a pillow out of it. It's on my bed. Week 4 is when everything, you replay all the first 4 weeks. Because obviously you can keep, in the membership, you see, you can keep replaying it. It's not like you have to be there on the night, and otherwise you miss it. The great thing is it's there all the time. You can keep going back to it. So then when we get to month 2, you make it a little bit easier, but we then go into everything in detail. But the thing about it was, you said you would help us release emotional trauma. And I went, I haven't got any of that. What's she talking about, emotional trauma? Yeah, so occasionally I have bad moods. Yeah, so what? People have got used to it by now. Occasionally, I swear. That's what I thought you meant by emotional. Little did I know quite how much trauma I was carrying for all these years. Hence the reason I can now say to a beautiful looking guy, no, thank you, son. Where's your brother? Which I couldn't do before then.
Chip your brother in.
Cousin, brother, anybody. you know, Dad, because you look quite young. But no, it's one of the best experiences of your life going on this membership, because you can do it at your own pace.
Yeah.
You go over everything more than once, you know, you're not expected. It's not like, you know, you've got to learn this. Right, I want it all written down by next Tuesday, otherwise you can't come. You know, you do it at your own pace. But everybody that was in last year's 2021, the changes in them are just the same as me.
Mm.
And you saw me before I joined. I was up and down with the whole, I'm looking after myself, Mars bars, pipe beer, you know. I went off the grid a few times and then came back to it, because it's just something you have to come back to.
Yeah.
So then to do a whole year of it, life-changing, completely life-changing.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm coming back again.
You have totally changed, Maxine. I'm going to come to you in a sec, Dons, and your perspective. But Maxine, you have totally changed. Like, you are so different to the woman 12 months ago. So imagine what you're going to do over the coming months. You know, like, imagine how amazing it is going to be for you. You know, it's just...
It's knowing where... It's knowing that when someone says to you, you are carrying emotional trauma, and this is why you accept these things, you do things a certain way that you don't enjoy. And, you know, it was like, we've lived our lives, you know, you have to go to work, you have to earn money. I never had money, which is why I said, when you said the price of Self-Love Club last year, I thought it was hilarious, because I never had money before. It would go in my account, it would disappear, and I'd spend it in a day and wonder why I'd never got anything. And then, so you sort of teach us how to live the best life that you want. Not what somebody tells you to do, your own life. Yeah. So you have, and if you're not happy with it, you find out why. And there were loads of like epiphanies for me that I couldn't even remember, which changed everything. Yeah. And I'm still learning.
Awesome stuff. Maxine, I love hearing it. And the two ladies that shared last night, I got so bloody emotional. You know, it's such a huge journey that everybody's been on. So Dons, obviously you're slightly different because you work with me, but you essentially went through the program last year and you saw the growth.
Absolutely.
I would love to hear from your perspective, because it's like, I can sit there and reel off a list of names of people that I was blown away by the sheer changes in them. But I'd love to hear from your perspective, babe, because you were doing the content at the same time as working with us, right?
Absolutely. You know, I thought, because I'd been around you for a long while, that I wouldn't have much work to do, and, you know, there wouldn't be much to come out of the membership. And I was so wrong, you know, so wrong. It's just, you know, it's just taken everything to the next level. And interestingly enough, I wanted to mention that this morning I was working on doing the end of course calls with a lot of the people that have just finished the 2020 course. And I was just in floods of tears all morning, every single one of them, because, you know, I was asking them the questions that we wanted answers to. And just hearing the journey that they'd been on and what they'd got out of it. And I said to every one of them, actually, that it was really humbling for me to be able to watch their journeys, you know, because I've just blown away by every single one of them. Every single one of them. They've all got so much out of it, you know. And, you know, one of the ladies I was talking to, I've got a lot of similarities with them. I resonated a lot with what she was saying. And I was just like, yeah, I got that too. Yeah, I got that too. And yeah, it was just a lovely morning, actually, just chatting to these people, seeing how they've changed their lives and actually how they're moving forward. And actually, you know, how some of them are, you know, were in jobs they didn't love, and they're now going off to do things that they absolutely love, creating their own things. That was incredible to hear, you know. And I think that's something, it's very difficult when you put out an email to or a post to encourage people to come along to Self-Love Club launch and everything. It's difficult to get it on paper. And I think, you know, that was the beauty of the two ladies sharing, and again, Maxine sharing today, is that to hear it from other people's perspectives is just priceless.
Yeah.
Because you can't put into words on paper sometimes what people are getting out of this course and how it goes on giving even after you've finished it. That's the bit of it, I think, that is the most surprising. It just keeps on giving every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't recognise myself from who I was 4 years ago, say. Because 4 years ago, I wasn't in a great place. Obviously, I met you, Donna, things started to get better, but I still kept going back because I hadn't dealt with the reason why I was like that in the first place. And so now I actually really love myself.
Good.
And so I share it with everyone.
Good, because we love you too.
Bless you. But you can't, it's like you say, you couldn't put it into words if you had to write it down.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, you know, if I had to write it down, it would fill a whole book, because then you'd remember something else, then you remember something else.
Yeah.
But from how my life was to how it is now, and not just that, my whole family, me and my children, who are 21 and 17, have the best relationship ever.
So beautiful.
And Connor, obviously my godson, has come on leaps and bounds, and he's learning from us. So we've just got this beautiful dynamic at home.
Beautiful.
That I didn't have before, because you know what it's like. Your daughter says to me, "Oh God, she's in a bad mood." We don't have that now, because she'll actually turn and say, "Right, okay, warning, I'm in a bad mood. Don't know why. I'm going to go in my room for 10 minutes."
Yeah, perfect.
Whereas before there'd be pans flying, you know, and then I'd be throwing them back. We don't have any of that now.
Of course.
Do you know what? 2 words that came out today in every single call that I did. 2 words that came out every day, every time, was peace and calm.
Mm.
In a world that we're living in right now, for people to be able to get those 2 things, peace and calm, is incredible. It's priceless.
But you could see it on their faces last night that spoke. They were so emotional with happiness. They weren't, you know, they usually say one thing, they say, "Oh, but I didn't quite do this." It was just, and it was brilliant. And the confidence they had, even though they were both scared to come on, was brilliant, which they would never have had they not gone on this. They would have stayed exactly as they were.
Exactly. And what's quite interesting, something that I was very aware of last night, is because a lot of people hear self-love and it's like, oh, she's going to teach us confidence, she's going to teach us how to love ourselves, blah, blah, blah. Self-love is the answer to ascension. Self-love is what gives you your true awakening. And I'm not talking about whether Trump is going to come back, or, you know, the jibber jabber is what it is, or any, I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I am talking about your true awakening to your passions, your purpose, and what the heck you agreed to come down here to do. That's what I'm talking about. I call it Self-Love Club because until you recognize how freaking amazing you are, you will never reach that level of ascension. If anybody ever tells you, "Oh, you're being a bit arrogant," or "You're being this," or "You're being that," if you are stood in your truth, you'll be like, you literally won't give a damn. Because I grab your ego, I shake it the heck up until it doesn't want to be shaken anymore, and then we oink it out and we become friends with it. That's what we do through Self-Love Club. It's not unicorns and sprinkles and dandelions and daisies. Don't know where dandelions came from, but hey ho, clearly.
No, you need a crash helmet for the first month.
Yeah. But also at other points through the course, right? At other points through the course, it's like you've got to hold on to your hollyhocks, you know, because we are on a journey. There, you know, and this is what is so important. It's so important for people to recognize, if you want to go on your journey, you have to find someone or something to guide you. You know, you do. There's many people out there that say, "Oh no, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that." I disagree. I truly believe that we're all good and we can do it on our own. Like, I mean, I've got where I've got on my own. It absolutely blows a lot of spiritual mentors away. They're like, "How on earth have you done it?" But it was sheer determination and grit, which most people do not possess, not the levels that I do. You know, if I have a chocolate bar, it's once in a bloody blue moon, and it'll be, I don't know what the reason it'll be. It'll never be because I'm angry or I'm upset. It'll be because I'm like, oh, I really fancy it, and I'll go and find myself some nice vegan chocolate or whatever. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's the way that I roll, and that's a treat for me. However, you know, I don't have those crutches anymore. I don't need to go out drinking. Like I said earlier about, you know, leaving this toxic situation. I just wanted to cuddle from somebody. You know, I didn't revert back to my old habits. Doesn't mean I'm not going to have those thoughts and that, but it's how we learn to deal with it, how we keep our ego in check, how we, you know, we've got the tools and the techniques in our back pocket if we choose to use them. Sometimes you won't want to. Sometimes you'll want to have the excuse of needing a blowout or whatever. That's okay. But it's about how you get yourself back on track. That is what Self-Love Club is. Please do not be disillusioned into the fact that it is unicorns and fairies and everything sweet and rosy, because it's not. I might look like that, but I'm not like that.
Oh no.
Understatement.
So yeah, I mean it was amazing.
But it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Please don't think it's awful, because it is absolutely beautiful. But yes, you will have to go through Lucy to get to it. But it's so worth it, because honestly, you literally pick every part of you. And sometimes you say things and when you first start, you go, no, I don't think so. When really you're just lying to yourself, because I did. I went, oh, I don't think so, Lucy. No, I don't think so. No, well, that's you, not me. And then I sat there and went, lie, Maxine, lie, pants on fire, admit it, hold your hand up. Because I was lying to myself, which is what the whole thing changed for me. So, yeah, so I'm the liar, not you.
I love it. So, ladies and gents, Self-Love membership is open until 7:30 p.m. on Friday evening. We may be extending it a little bit, but we haven't made a decision on that yet. So aim for the 7:30. All of the details will be in the description. If you want to watch the video, I'll put another YouTube link there so you can go and watch it. It's a very fun call. We had such a laugh last night. You can go and watch it there. All of your, any questions, a lady sent me a load of questions earlier. I'm like, babe, watch the video. They are all answered in there, okay? All of the questions will be answered.
And if anybody wants to ask me, I'm quite happy to answer any questions.
Beautiful. But also I'm going to put the support email address underneath as well, so that if you've got any questions, you can go to Don Don's. The other thing, sorry Donna, you wanted to say something, darling, didn't you?
I thought she said it.
No, that was it. The one thing I did, it just cropped up for me, was the other thing. You know, so many people are lacking a community these days, more than ever. It was already that way, but since lockdown and everything else that's going on in the world, community has just been lost for so many people, and that's something else that you will definitely get in quantity with Self-Love Club. That was what I wanted to say.
Thank you. And it's a really, really valid point, because you are literally meeting your soul brothers and sisters, right? That's what Self-Love Club, part of it, was set up to do. Now, I just want to touch on something else. And Donna, I know you were away last week, but we did Self-Love Club Hangs last week. And Maxine, I know you were there. Wow. What a session. So, ladies and gents, Self-Love Club Hangs is basically a 2.5 hour seminar that I do. I used to do them once a month. But in November 2020, I was told very clearly by my guides I had to do 4 this year, literally 4. The first one was all around loving yourself. The second one that we did last week was all around your shadow. The third one is going to be all around inner child, and that's in July. And the fourth one is all going to be about releasing the emotional trauma, like the sexual emotional trauma from the planet, and obviously individually as well. So I don't know about you ladies, but for me, May was the month of shadow. Literally bombarded. My guides gave me such an early heads up, right? Your shadow is going to be rife in May. We need to get people's shadow in alignment, you know, loving your shadow so that you can step through. So just before we step into talking about Self-Love Club Hangs last week, I'm just giving you the heads up early. In July, inner child is going to be misbehaving, because the fact they gave it to me last year, honestly, just know your inner child is going to be being a pain in the bottom come July, because it was fact last month in May, shadow was rife, wasn't it? Very, very, very rife. So Maxine, again, from your perspective, because you were there, babe, I'd love to know how Self-Love Club Hangs felt to you, because you've been to quite a few, right?
Yeah, I've been to loads. One in person, the rest online. Obviously, moved it online. And they're all different, every single one of them, because you don't know what you're going to channel until literally you come on there. But the last one was, well, I used peace and calm, the same as what people are saying from the membership. Everything just ran beautifully. People were, because obviously I could see all the faces this time. Normally I can only see 3 or 4 and have to scroll through. You know, and they're sort of sitting there a bit nervous to start off with. And then you started talking about what you were going to do. So that piqued a little bit of interest. But then the whole conversation then flowed about your shadow. And I could see people like going, oh my God, that's me, without physically saying it. You could see, and like they edged nearer to the screen. You know, like when you're at school and you're a bit bored, your shoulders are down. And I could see them sort of rising up a bit. And I thought, all right, here we go, bombshells. And then you said something, and it was like everyone got in the chat box at the same time going, this makes so much sense. And I could see people were learning. And this is just from, what was it, 2 hours? Just about 2.5 hours, wasn't it?
2.5 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, you could just see people were like, this makes so much sense now. I would never have thought of it like that. And that's why this is happening. And that's why, and how to deal with it. Honestly, it was brilliant. I stayed right till the very end. Sometimes I do pop up halfway through because I need the loo, but I actually stayed right to the very end because it was beautiful.
Yeah. And what's so interesting is the one that Donna doesn't come to, I managed to keep to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Normally I'm like channeling for about 4 hours, aren't I? And I'm like, I'm ever so sorry for keeping you so long, but you know, the messages need to come out. And for the first time ever, it was 2.5 hours, which is kind of what I say to people. I manage their expectations. It's going to be about 2.5 hours. But normally it goes a lot further past that. So yeah, from my perspective, it was very human. It was very, very human. It was the first human one I feel I've ever done. Normally I'm a little bit floaty and I'm a little bit out there and stuff, but this time it was like, you know, people were having massive breakthroughs, but I was really grounded into my human, and it felt good. It felt really, really good. And I'm excited to do the one in July about inner child. So again, what I'm going to do below here is post the link to, can I do that? Have I even done the updates? I'm not sure I've done the updates. When I've done the updates, in fact, Donna and I will do the updates overnight tonight, tomorrow morning. So by the time this goes out, the link will be there for you guys to be able to sign up for the July ones. It's going to be all around your inner child. So if every now and again you have a temper tantrum and you're like, shush, don't know where that came from, this is what you need. You know, maybe buy it for your mum's birthday if she has a little hissy fit or something like that. Whenever you step into victim, whenever you feel this overwhelming hurt or anything like that, that's what we need to be identifying. Okay, this is what we need to be stepping up and healing right now. It's so important that we recognize we've all got it. We've all got it going on. We just need to recognize and make sure that we learn to love and empower our inner child so that we can step up and step through and into our serious amounts of greatness that we've got. You know, I'm really excited for it. And obviously, if you are looking for the one in September, which is around sexual trauma, that could be personal or it could be, you know, planetary. The link will be out for that. I think the link's on Eventbrite, Donna, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you can get it on Eventbrite, you just can't get it on my website at the moment because we can only have one link onto my website at the moment. Yeah. But it's very, very, very exciting. I feel that this year, and I know we're in the middle of the year, but I feel this next 12 months is going to be huge. So much gold. You know, there is really going to be a huge amount of shift on the planet. For those of you that have been watching my videos with BT and with other people and the ones that I do on my own, July 2022 is really where we're going to see a lot of this noise coming to closure if we get our bums in gear and if we get this plan and if we can get things moving here in the UK. And I don't know about you, but one more year of this, I think I could probably get through 5-6 more years of this. It's too much. So
Totally.
It's time for us to come together now, ladies and gents. It's really time for us to collaborate. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to link back to the energy update video that I've done for June so that you guys can get a real insight into what's happening. because it's really going to help you navigate the next month. Okay, do keep your eyes out for my energy videos, because each month I get totally different things, and they are actually really quite helpful. I find it quite helpful anyway. So Donna, Maxine, have you got anything else you'd like to share with everybody?
No, my lovely. I'm just excited for the next lot of for our next lot of members into the Self Love Club. Yeah, there's some beautiful people joined already. So yeah, it's really exciting.
I was excited the minute you said you were launching
You're
it.
one of the beautiful ones.
But can you imagine how much more I'm going to learn this time around?
Yeah, you'll have a whole,
because you know, I've done it once. I think this year is going to be more powerful.
I agree with you. I also think
I really do.
The energies are working with us as well. Last year there was a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people were kind of like leaning on this as their crutch. Now the energies are going to be making us catapult upwards. I think the people that are joining this program this year, they're not going to know themselves, like, even within a couple of months. Huge stuff.
And like as you said, June 2022, they will have been through 12 months. They'll be so ready. Do you know what I mean? They'll be so ready to face absolutely everything, and we'll be free.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I'm aiming for.
Very, very, very exciting.
I'm free now, but you know, they'll be even freer.
Yeah. Well, some people are free. Some people have chosen not to be. Ladies, I'm just going to ask one question, and we're going to end on this. What's your predictions for the 21st of June here in the UK? Are we going to get released, or are we going to be kept inside? So Donna's
we're not being released.
Definitely not happening. Maxine, what's your thoughts?
I think between now and about the 18th, they're going to say, yeah, we're still working towards it. And about the 18th, the variant from some foreign land that has bypassed every other country getting here is going to shut us down completely. And there'll be local lockdowns to start off with. Yeah. But also Queenie is going to have to go in the next few days, or be announced in the next few days.
I feel that the Queen's going to go this month, definitely.
Yeah, I think in the next few days. It's her birthday next week. They've just announced a 4-day holiday for next year for her coronation, or whatever stupid thing she did with that hat on. But yes, I think they're going to announce it in the next few days.
Interesting. Okay, so I feel around the 11th to the 14th, we're going to get some news. I don't know why the 11th and the 14th.
Oh, well, I didn't get the 14th. I got the 11th. The 11th kept coming up, and that wasn't in our first, my first lot numbers. That was 24 and 20.
Yeah.
But I keep getting the 11th.
Yeah, I think something's going to happen between the 11th and the 14th of June. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to be real, and I think I've said this in a number of videos. I do not think that we are going to be released for long, if at all. Okay, I just want to
I just can't see it happening at all.
Yeah, there's too many people still asleep. There is too many people that are literally just, you know, they're just not getting it. So, okay.
Hello.
Hello.
It's all right, Connor was just saying hello.
Hi.
Say hello,
look. Hey, Connor. Hi. Hey, Connor.
We love
He's waiting patiently outside.
We love the little beans. They're so cute. All right, ladies and gents, right. I'm gonna end Girlie Giggles today. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been beautiful to be back with you girls having a chat.
I've missed you too.
Oh, it's been amazing, right? It's so good to catch up. I'm going to post a cheeky little video above here for you guys to be able to watch, to keep you busy until we're back next week. Ladies, thank you as always for your time. Ladies and gents, do remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and share with everybody you know and love. Guys, we will see you next week. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.